Welcome back to NGTV Plays Pillars of Eternity, featuring myself, Spencer, your host for this particular week's worth of episodes. Let's, okay, why am I sneaking? Oh, that's right, because when I do the thing, okay. Talk to it. Oh. Yeah, goodbye. I really don't care about you. Move along, what about you? Keep out of trouble. Oh, they're just sellswords. Okay, so let's move down here. You have a name? Itter.
Were you looking for someone in that tree? I could introduce you.
Looking for anyone who can help me feel better. Strange way to talk to you about your dead. He gives an understanding nod as he takes a long drag from his pipe. My condolences. He exhales and turns his attention away, watching the village around him. Well, what else? Okay, so can I interact with any of these? Scattered between the roots are bracelets of twine and bead, wilting flowers and notes half erased by the rains. Poor town, man. I can't. Okay, so apparently I can't select. Let me get this though. Blood moss. Villager. Okay, so there's random villager. What's over here? Villager, they're not going to tell me anything. I'm assuming not, at least. Okay, not going to go down there just yet. Why is, like, their village all fucked up? Beneath the vines are crude carvings of a sun rising over 3 stars. Theophalion. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from his past seem to call out to you. Reach out for the soul. You see a pennant waving tall and sluggish in the wind, a rising sun embroidered on the banner, the vanguard of a small troop of paladins. The atmosphere is buoyant, if restrained, and their armor has not yet been tarnished by the elements. This expedition is fresh, young, filled with zest and zeal. At their head stands a commander, awkward in full armor, but determined in step. Despite the excitement of his fellows, he does not smile. There is a twist to his mouth, a countenance grim. He throws up a hand, halting his troop. Silence falls among them, revealing a dark thunder, deep and low. He orders them to ready their weapons and spread out. Eyes dart from horizon to horizon, necks twisting to see the source of the sound. In the distance, dust and lightning rise from the ground as Stygian clouds race towards them overhead. The soldiers stand, only the staccato movement of their breath betraying their nerves. The commander closes his eyes, calling a blessing down on his troop. Invigorated, invincible, they wait as the enemy draws closer, poised to attack. Alright. I'm assuming the soul that I've been linked to. I know this guy before. Oh, is it going to be the same thing? It is. So apparently I just can't have a normal conversation with this guy. Let's first see if there's anybody to talk to over here. Villager, and probably villager, yep. What if it's not the baby? Maybe Cole's... Oh no, maybe the wife died. There's a possibility here. Interesting, so they like to talk shit indoors. Black Hammer Smithery. Oh, interesting. I could sell stuff here. Okay, what do we got here? As you near, feel a vibrant history containing the essence of this man's soul. Nice. You see a man crouching, surreptitious and alone. A series of untamed shrubs, all that hides him from the vision ahead. His eyes are locked on a Delimgan, beautiful and terrible, eyes half-lidded as she hums. A bird with fantastic blue and orange plumage sits on her shoulder, trilling gently, and the man is entranced. Trembling, tentative, he stands, and the tranquility is broken by the bird's startled squawk. The Delimgan half smiles, beckoning with twig-like fingers. She does not speak as he approaches. His mouth is dripping sounds of awe and admiration. She waits, coy and tempting. With agonizing slowness, he is before her. Then something changes. She sees something hanging limply from his side, and begins to hiss. Fingers suddenly claws, and eyes black with hate. He has no time to reach for his axe or grimoire as she strikes. And just as soon as she strikes, she is gone. The only evidence of her existence is the shuddering wreck on the ground. He grabs at his grimoire, nevertheless, and begins to chant, but the words of magical language of his own imagining, scribbled in a maniacal shorthand, ring hollow, and the silence continues unabated. He turns and shrugs at someone or something, but if there is something there, you do not see it. So, I mean, maybe my initial thought that we were somehow linked to someone else. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe we can link to nearby people. All right. You see a group of adventurers surrounded by a crowd of attacking Zorops. This man is with them, seemingly unconcerned by the battle, even detached from it as he stands in the middle of his comrades, chanting, his expression bordering on elation. His voice is powerful and deep, booming out across the combatants as a rich counterpoint to the chaos of their fighting. So he's a bard. With every phrase, the battlefield changes. His allies glow with a pulsing blue light, freezing the Zorops that surround them. A blazing pyre erupts from the ground, cutting and burning the creatures and sending them scattering. One of the fallen Zorops suddenly explodes as 3 giant grubs crawl from its corpse and attack the remaining enemies. The man continues to chant, thoroughly enthralled in the joy of the moment. Finally, the creatures have been reduced to 1. His allies stand back as the man approaches it. Still chanting, he removes his hammer and swings it at the Zorop. His phrase ends as the hammer connects with its head, punctuating the spell and bringing his song to an end. So I'm going around and, like, experiencing things. Okay. This Almoa man is of an impressive build. Towering above the countertop, his skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square-jawed face, coated in smeared soot and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome! You're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armor to offer yet. All forged right here at the Black Hammer. What you have for sale? Of course, you won't find anything finer anywhere else. That's what they always say. Okay. So I am going to access my stash and sell basically all of this. And then I'm going to sell this. And that's probably about it, actually. And then I would like to buy... Okay. Not sure that I actually need anything right now. Okay.
Good day to you.
We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for a year on a week now, and haven't seen a sign of it. For near on a week. I said year. Have to expect that they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. Or my workers ran off with the wagon themselves, maybe, to make some coin. Tautano snorts, as if that lot would dare. Tautanu scratches his jaw, thinking, if you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon, or my shipment at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect, only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Raedric. Tautanu glances at the nearby guard, and that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. Where's the wagon traveling from? We send the wagon up to New Haomar with weapons, and it swings around through Log Home and the like to purchase supplies. The shortest route back is through the Black Meadow, and then north through the wilds. Tautanu shakes his head. Had a trader come through with word they'd made it to Log Home, but haven't heard anything since. Okay, sure. I'd appreciate your trying anyhow. You bring back the supplies at least, and I'll have much more to offer you. A discount to start. And if you do find my workers, you give them a good smack ups to the head for me. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm assuming that I should probably not take these weapons. That would probably be pretty bad. Alright, heading outside. Alright. Who are these people? Villager? Villager. Nothing. Can I enter this house at all? In true isometric fashion, if the house is facing away, you generally can't enter it. That's not always the case, of course, but that is, a popular way of dealing with that. Is there not a door to this house? Of course not. Alright, well, I'm not gonna... Oh, I can't even talk to the cows in this game? Come on, guys. Talking to cows is like half the fun. Okay.
Huh?
Oh, who's this
No
guy?
problem.
A villager. At least they have interesting looking villagers. There's a house here. I shall enter it. There's Nanton. This man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing two bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices your approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little. Wait a second. That's the wife.
Hail and well met.
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man, Nanton? Yes, I think we met in the Valewood. I warned him about the bear. He inclines his head. Glad to see you made it. Was there something else you wanted? Oh. You aren't good spirits for people who just lost a friend. That's unkind of you to say. I'm grieving my husband. In my fashion, I'm only sorry I could not convince him to leave the Gilded Vale before this happened. I'm relieved to be rid of this terrible place, that's all. It cost me the greater part of my life, and now my husband, and I'm glad to be free of it. Or so she says. Yes, I imagine so, Ingrid laughs. We're packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit the Defiance Bay, and she looks at Danton. Well, in truth, I think I've had to have my fill of this town. Danton reaches to take her hand. It's time for some new scenery, he says. He definitely... it's so... only that you'll want to be moving on as soon as you can. You'll have seen the tree, I imagine, but the rock goes deeper. If you were looking for work, I'd say you have a better chance of it elsewhere. It sounds... I might have to leave these people. We're headed for Defiance Bay ourselves. It sounds bad, but I'm almost glad that... Wait, can I take this stuff? Is this... I'm almost glad that Clecia didn't make it to Gilded Vale, because I feel like her expectations would have been ruined. She'd already lost family. Well, not family, but friends at least. And her sister lives here. Oh no, her sister. In 2626 AI, a group of farmers, while clearing farmland for planting, accidentally knocked down one of the ancient Audra menhirs on their land. This innocent act drew the ire of the native population and started what would come to be known as the Broken Stone War. When it was finally over, several thousand colonists have been killed, as well as hundreds of the Glenfethans. Even though the war was technically over, the Glenfethans escalated their attacks on the settlers over the next 2 years using vicious tactics that left many colonists, several military figures, an earl, and 6 thanes dead. Unable to stop the Glenfathan attacks, the earls elected Earl Idrang Hadret to the position of Gref. Or Grafe, I don't know. Well respected and known to be a master of military tactics, he was tasked with dealing with the Glenfathan threat. Idrang fought with the Glenfathans, led by an Orlan named Regd. For the next 2 years, neither side can gain an upper hand on the other, resulting in a tense stalemate between the two groups. They changed tenses just now. Because of the stalemate, the hostilities slowly died off, and then they went right back. It's so strange. And in 2631, the Dyrwood people signed a treaty with the Glenfathans. Regd would step down, and Glenfathans would stop their attacks altogether, and the Dyrwood people would leave the ruins alone. This treaty angered the nobility in Eider, I don't know, as it brought to a halt the supply of artifacts. Edrang also tried to get the practice of slavery outlawed, but this was not successful. Because of this, the peace between the Dyrwood and Araglanfath is uneasy and tumultuous. Small patches of rural violence still cropped up, but were easily dealt with as neither side wanted another war. The tenses are all weird in this, but that's fine. I'm assuming they don't want this book anymore. It's in here. Silver loose. No, not worth it. I don't know what I'm going to get in trouble for taking. Although it's not red, so yeah, okay. I think I now know the rules. Bottle of Sonreed, half empty. Sonreed. It's probably some kind of like alcoholic drink. I'm assuming that they're together, and the husband was probably in the way of them leaving the town, so he dealt with the husband. He was probably just as crazy as everyone else in this weird place. I'm really tired, but I need to find a place to sleep. Okay. I knew it. You see a crowded marketplace, vendor stalls lining the road, their proprietors' voices calling out to a passers-by to come sample their wares. This woman wanders through the throngs, strolling hand in hand with another woman. They peruse the vendor's goods, tearing at a book merchant with a number of old and beautiful tomes, chatting with another about what they see. One will pick up a book and show it to the other, who will take it, comment on it, and place it back on its shelf. Then the first will snatch up the book again and quickly pay the merchant before the other can snatch it back. They walk away from the market, weighed down by packs filled with books, still hand in hand, standing close, comfortable, and familiar with each other. As they pass down a somewhat deserted street, an object suddenly hits this woman in the chest and bounces off, rolling away toward one of the buildings. The women stop and look at the object, an apple, and then back up at the person who threw it. There's nothing special about him aside from the angry look on his face. The two other apples he holds. Oh no, they're probably together, and he's probably prejudiced against it. Before either woman can move, the man draws back and throws another one at him. This time hitting the second woman in her forehead. He yells at them, something derisive and hateful, something about a legacy and about responsibilities. Maybe not. The woman raises her hand to her head and wipes the juice and bits of fruit from her face and stares the man down defiantly. The first woman squeezes her hand and puts the other on her companion's shoulder, attempting to calm her down. The other woman pulls a book from her pack and holds it before her, muttering under her breath. She pulls her hand free and waves it above the book, an aura forming around her. The first woman is still trying to calm her down, but all she says goes unheard. The man, uncaring of the events happening in front of him, draws back and throws the last apple. As it arcs through the air toward them, the second woman brings up her hand and points at the apple. A glowing orb of energy flies from her hand and strikes the apple, causing it to explode, raining bits of apple down on the ground, down on the road and buildings around them. The man's face changes, anger joined by fear, looking like he's trying to decide if running or attacking is the better course of action. The second woman has started chanting again, her hand glowing, her eyes narrowing. The woman steps in front of her, placing herself between her love, it's been given away now, and their attacker. She touches her face, gently stroking it while whispering calming words. A kiss. The woman's countenance changes. She calms, her eyes softening, her lips regaining the lost smile. The first woman smiles again as well and kisses the other. Wizard scum, the man behind them says, and the two women turn to face him. Staring him down defiantly, they join hands and begin walking again, moving past him without so much as a sideways glance. The writing in that was also very strange. I'm not trying to pick it apart, but it was like the word apple came up 1,000 times. And it was just very, I don't know. The writing is hit and miss, it seems. In my opinion. Still good, but hit and miss. Was this red? I can't tell. Yeah, it was red. I'm not going to take that stuff. You see a key turn gently, steady, and hear a ghostly click as the door swings inward. Two figures slip in, locking the door behind them, and begin their prowl. Their hunt is efficient, and it takes them little time to acquire a sizable collection of documents in oddly shaped velvet pouches. Quick hands fill pockets, rucksacks, bags. The door opens downstairs, and everything freezes. Footsteps, a tired giggle. The thieves are all eye whites, and short breath as they empty their pockets of all but the necessities, anything noisy hurriedly replaced. Silence from downstairs, then tentative steps up the staircase. A voice calls out. One thief creeps forward, the other gesticulating wildly for him to return. He continues forward, crouching by the banister. He sees a gaudy shoe and shoves. The woman falls with a cut-off scream, rolling lifelessly to the floor below. He didn't have to kill her. Swearing, the second thief grabs her brother, and they make their escape, collecting whatever of value they can on the way out. Interesting. Rat screw behind the sacks. Okay. Most creatures will detect a character just after they appear on the edge of the Hogwarts. I wonder if any of these actual events are going to mean anything. Like, are they going to come to... Oh, there's us. Well, I'm not going to go that way just yet. What's this? Oh, there's 2 gold rock chews. Yeah, I'm going to take both of them. Are you kidding me? Stuff's the bee's knees, man. Oh, Doran Chamberlain. I can't wait to have another. Yep, I knew it. You see a large crowd gathered in the middle of a courtyard. This man stands in the midst of them, a cloak pulled over his head, holding it closed around his neck. The crowd is congregated around a platform, and they all watch, transfixed as a man is led to the platform, flanked by 2 city guardsmen. The man is shackled hand and foot, but carries himself as a nobleman, not deigning to even glance at the crowd. The cloaked man pulls his cover closer around his face and turns to leave, hunching over to avoid being seen. A crier on the platform unrolls a parchment and begins to read, but the man pays no attention, intent on getting away from the courtyard. The crier's voice grows louder and more intense as he reads, and voice from the crowd start to punctuate his sentences. The jeers and shouts grow more frequent, and with each one the cloaked man flinches and his shoulders droop. He breaks from the crowd, coming to the edge of the courtyard as the crier reaches the end of his proclamation. The crowd grows silent again, save for the occasional shout. The man turns to look at the platform, seeing his father kneeling before the block, neck exposed. The executioner moves into position, lifting his axe to strike. The man turns suddenly, unable to watch. There is a wet thunk, and the crowd breaks into cheers and applause. He leans against a wall, regaining his composure, then straightens up. With obvious resolve, he strides off, and away from the crowd and his legacy. Oof. Heavy shit right there. Rudolfir Necator. You see a pair of immaculately polished leather boots and an impeccably maintained goatee. Their owner, a slightly hook-nosed man with a wicked grin and narrow eyes. He bobs his feathered hat at a nearby merchant as he ambles by, a small piece of parchment held tight in his fist, ink staining his fair fingers. He seems to know most of the merchants in the market, stopping to engage some, nodding at others, and even bartering for minor goods, with a select few always smiling, laughing, and exchanging jibes. He approaches a heavy-set Alma, smile plastered stiff across his face, and jokes about the weather. She jokes back, subtly palming him several gold coins. When he walks away, the paper in his hand is gone, and the smile on his face far more genuine. He tips his cap at her, winking, and trundles off with a new spring in his step. Interesting. He is selling information of some type, I'm assuming. And another villager. Eh?
Got it.
And apparently that door is just not openable. Still don't know how any of these people are actually connected or what the purpose of any of this is. But time to move up the stairs now, I guess. We know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through that door gets a shot between the eyes. Gods, hear me, Swainer. I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads. But we'll be back, Trumbull, and we'll have fair prices, or by the flame we'll have a reckoning. Whew. Investigate the feud. Okay. Apparently I can just enter the door, but they couldn't. An elven man stands before you, his relatively stocky build suggesting a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange hurried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back if you value your life. Oof. Okay. Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. The miller hesitates and then lowers the club for action. Who are you? Is Swainer roping foreigners into this little crusade now? My name is Faroon. I've only just arrived in Gillaville. I thought you could use some help. Those people out there seem pretty angry. I don't like being threatened. Who's Swainer? Okay, so I think I'll introduce myself first. You picked a bad time to come visiting. Gilded Vale's had all its shine scraped off, just a big dung heap now, and Swainer thinks he's king of it. They're all of them mad. It's all the ruckus outside. Where to begin? Swainer's whipped them into a froth, going on about grain stores, claims I've hidden away most of it. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Swainer and his lot sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on the way into town, the crop's blighted, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers, Trumbull gestures to the sacks and containers, it's gone off, rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I barely got enough good grain to go around. Swainer's howling after things he has no right to. Seems like a pretty clean story for a messy situation. It's not. Look, Swainer's always been a rotten bastard. With stores so limited, maybe I save the good stuff for people who deserve it. Alpha, for instance. She's expecting a child. Should I let her starve instead? Do villagers know about the grain supply? The innkeeper, for instance. It's better not to worry anyone. I'll be trading for supplies soon enough. If we can just keep things calm until then, we'll be in the clear. The innkeeper? I wouldn't drink the ale, is all I'm saying. Maybe I ought to have to talk with Swainer. I'd be grateful if he did. He won't listen to me anymore. But maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. We'll be fine. We'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him. Okay. Rumble, who is this? Ciaru? My father's a good man. He's always done right by the town. Oofdane. My father can explain better just what happens here. Okay, what is that it? I'm too tired for this bullshit. I gotta get to the innkeeper. Is that red? It was totes red. Okay. Didn't want to steal stuff. Okay, so this is the mill. Got some more settler's arrow. Okay. Where's the rest of the town? Ooh, I've been everywhere. Alfred's house. Oh, wait. The Loth, the Blackhound Inn. Oh, I'm gonna go that way. Road south. Blackhammer Smithery. Road east. Okay. Temple of Aethys. Temple's fucked up. Okay. Villager. Oh, gotta go this way. Got myself some Bareth's Bell. Oh, that's funny. They worship Bareth. That's interesting. Kind of cool. You see 4 people gathered by the door to the end. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm, his face partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggest an elf.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
Adira, okay. Okay. He insulted them. Say nothing. One of the other men glares at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from the drink, but his gaze focused. We've got a lot of gall mocking us in our own village. We don't take ill treatment from foreigners, especially not Adirans.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse. Why, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
Cocksfeather? Oh, man. I'm assuming that has to do with... Am I even going to talk about that?
I'll cut that barrel-looking tongue out of your head.
Alright, so am I going to have to help this guy?
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
Okay, so... Is he bipolar, or was he just reacting to what was just said to him? Don't know.
That's where you're wrong.
Okay, there's 3 of them. Okay, so he was being called a cocksfeather, maybe? I don't know. I thought it was him that called them a cocksfeather. Hmm. I don't think attacking him is such a good idea. Back down all of you. This is absurd. Yeah. We don't want your charity either, foreigner. It's going to eat through red biliary eyes. It sounds especially like you're defending him. Oh, well.
After them!
Oh my god, I'm straight up just murdering them. Jesus. Not knocking them out. No, murdering them. As the last of the attackers falls, the elf turns to you, the tension almost gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
Now, I'm not sure I enjoyed being roped into it. All I said was, wouldn't you rather just be inside, because this is stupid. I wonder if I had done nothing, what would have happened? Would he have been attacked? Would I have had to defend him? Is there a choice in the matter? I don't know. You mean for slaughtering them? Should I be realistic with it? This guy's probably pretty good.
Courtesy is a rare pleasure in these parts. Though your accent suggests that you are no more local than I.
Truth. Strange as his hood, and you note the remains of fraying embroidery on his gloves. His boots are caked in the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork beneath it is sturdy and fine.
I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvusser, at your service.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm a wizard by training.
Oh, yeah.
An adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I am grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here? In Gwithan Ruins? Oh, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. And half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
I'll be real with him. Loth giggles at you silently, apparently assessing your earnestness. Finally, he gives you a clipped, awkward laugh.
You do manage to find yourself in rather interesting predicaments. I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
Ah, I see. That. He clears his throat and adjusts his sleeves. As I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accent doesn't help. For just a moment, he looks as if he's about to say something else. His expression brightens with mischief, but before he can speak, he forces a tight smile, biting his lips so hard you can see blood. Finally, his face relaxes and he shakes his head. I should speak more clearly next time. My apologies. I'm not sure what that means. Did he mean to fight them? Is he part of a different culture that maybe doesn't get affected by the same? I don't know. This is really weird. It seems like I'm making friends with a bunch of like not good people, but they're not bad. I don't know. It's very weird.
An excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
Oh.
Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. And he has rid himself of them almost as desperately.
Interesting. I expect that such expertise would be best sought elsewhere. I also think so. Maybe Defiance Bay.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places. As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
Okay,
Excellent.
fine.
I shall follow you.
I already killed people for you. Might as well, right? Cool. We got a party member. We'll have to check those in the next episode. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the like button. If you want to see some more, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.